Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Avi, and today I will be playing Arata Satomi, your local real kind thief boy, as well as another friend of his named Adea Tochikura. And with me today is my wonderful, wonderful friend who I love so very much.
Hello, is me, Fletcher, also known as Fletch, and today I am once again playing everyone's favorite horrible little baby detective, who for once is here to have a fun time, and as usual is here to also menace people.
He is just a little menace boy.
He cannot help this.
Yes, I say delightfully. um, fuck, where was I? Yes. It's been quite some time, quite a time here in Yedo, Camille, hasn't it?
Sure has.
Yeah. The last time, you had an on-screen appearance here, at least in my knowledge, you, just got in contact with, a, counselor that Arata knows named Dr. Tomomi Masaru. So now you have him as your contact.
He's finally getting the normal kind of therapy as opposed to the magic intervention kind.
Yes, please don't get magic therapy at their time. Please.
Because then it's a gag and we're all doomed.
But where was I? But today, by God, I am giving you some funny, fun times. Here's the thing with Okashima. It is a huge city. Which means there are a lot of attractions around. And one of which, Arata has invited you to go, with him, because, again, you're a little boy. And you're not allowed to go anywhere on your own because, one, of your attraction to murder mysteries, and two, you are tiny and could get lost easily.
Yeah, and three, he's easily kidnappable, but it's fine.
We set that aside.
We don't look at that. We fulfilled our quota for the next half a year.
And here's what's up. Arata has invited you to go with him to a place near the Shibusawa district in Okashima, and he says the underground ball. And that's all he says. He asks you if you want to go check it out. Since he knows that you're a little boy, and also you might be, like, getting bored just staying in the hotel room.
Yeah, he probably is getting pretty bored. Like, he does have some stuff to preoccupy him, like, research-wise, but, like, he also just wants to actually go out and do something. He's not gonna say no to that. Especially if it's such a vague request, and you never know, maybe there will be a bookstore in which he can acquire more murder mysteries.
Maybe so.
Surely Arata does not have an ulterior motive.
Surely Arata does not have an ulterior motive. Absolutely not. You are taken to Shibusawa. You take the usual train, to get to the district. And this is like probably one of the larger stations here in Okashima. It is pretty big, but where Arata takes you, once you get off the train, it is still like technically in the station. There's just a little like path that like goes downstairs underground, and he's either holding your hand or he's letting you ride his shoulders. Sorry, he's letting you ride his shoulders, or he's going to hold your hand. You're free to choose whichever. It's a pretty wide staircase, and as he goes down and leads you, it opens up, and sure enough, that sure is an underground mall.
There is an underground mall. I don't think Camille's ever been to one, because I don't think they're something that's common in Einquell. So, yeah, he's taken in the sights.
Yeah, probably not yet, thanks, audience.
Yeah, certainly not in Forsenal.
Excuse me as I clear my throat. It is, there are plenty of, like, shops and whatnot. There are some, like, food stores, and there are some, like, usual, like, what do you call them? Clothing stores, and, just stores with jewelry, and all sorts of, like, good stuff, you know, a mall. But there is a pretty decently sized crowd. It is not as busy as the station proper. Which is probably good for you, because that means you're not swimming through so many, like, people just to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, like, he probably had to be carried by Arata when it was super, super busy, but here they can simply just hold hands.
Yeah.
And he is probably going to request to do that because he likes using his own legs.
Alright. Yeah, Arata's gonna set you down, very gently and just hold on to your hand. And, he probably takes you off to the side so you're not, like, blocking the staircase. But he kind of looks around and he goes, is there anything you want to look for in particular, or?
Well, I guess maybe a bookstore, or what do you recommend?
And he kind of gives you a smile. Do you want to roll a perception?
Sure! Okay. That is a 12 plus 12. That is a 24. Because my boy is disgusting.
A very disgusting little boy. He picks him up and shakes him around. Yeah, there are plenty of stuff around. You do see, like, what looks to be, like, a pretty small, like, sort of restaurant area. You could probably grab, like, a small bite to eat for lunch while you're here. But you just got here. You're probably not too concerned about that. There is a, you do see a bookstore. It is very small and very humble. But there is also a clothing store that's a little further in, and standing outside, looking through, like, one of the racks, one of those circular racks with, like, all of these, like, different shirts and whatnot, is a very familiar individual with blonde hair, in pigtails, and you recognize her as one of the friends Arata had that, like, greeted him at Legree when you first arrived in Okashima.
Mhm. Camille looks at the bookstore, but decides to be a decent brother and friend, and points her out to Arata. Just like, it looks like your friend's here.
And Arata looks over and he's like, "Oh, right, she is." In he is going to hold onto your hand and tug you along in the direction of the clothing store. um uh and and as he approaches, with you kind of being like dragged along, he waves a hand and calls out, "Adea!" And this young lady turns to look at the two of you, and she looks up and smiles, and she says, "Arata, hi!" And chew. Real quick, this is what she looks like. Spoiling for Scopo, of course, but yes, this is her.
Hey.
Again, she is a blonde. She's a blonde individual with her hair in pigtails, and right off the bat, her sense of fashion is sorry, her style is very fashionable. Um um and thank you, audience. As I try to find my words, and she looks down to Camille, and she says, "And you brought your little friend too." And she smiles at you and kind of like crouches, as if to like say hi to you, more one-on-one.
Camille's gotten used to it. He just smiles back at her and is just, it's nice to see you again. We, sort of met at the party?
Yeah, I saw you there too. I don't think I got your name back then.
He looks over at Arata.
Arata looks away.
God damn you. Camille sighs, and because he is beholden to gags, and the like, sticks his hand out to shake, gives her a big ol' smile, and is just, Camille Christie, detective. Glares at Arata.
This young lady, she holds up like she holds back like a full-on coup. But she does just smile so brightly. She finds you adorable. You don't even need an insight roll for that. And she she says, "Oh, you're so cute," and she shakes your hand, and and sorry, I'm like laughing at this because boy, at Camille's expense.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
uh, she says, "My name's Adea Tochikura. You can call me Adea, though."
And Camille does tilt his head. He's used to it. He knows his lot in life. He can handle this. He's just gonna brush past all of that as he's just Adea or with any honorifics.
"I'm okay with just Adea." And she kind of just shrugs as she says that. In her mind, you are tiny and a child.
And Camille nods and smiles as he's just, okay. And there is something that he wants to ask, but he's not about to do that in a crowded place in public. So he'll just keep that in his back pocket. And he's just, well, it's nice to officially meet you then, Adea.
It's nice to meet you too. And I think Arata is definitely gonna pull another prank on you. Because he is Arata, he is a trickster. He is also your older brother.
Many things to live up to.
Many things to live up to. How does he word this? And then I think Arata kind of like looks back at between the two of you, and he kind of leans over, and he places a hand on your shoulder, Camille, and to Adea, he says, "You know, Camille was just telling me something very interesting just now."
Camille squints and looks over at Arata.
He's got a, he's... Hang on, as I figure out how this is gonna...
Very fair.
Yeah, because he is a little shit. I think what he ends up saying is, sorry, the worst part about doing an FPS like this is that I am essentially talking to myself when it's between these two characters.
I hold you so very gentle.
So it's hard not to sound awkward, especially when I'm improving. Do not look at me. What Arata ends up saying is, I don't think, Camille has that extensive of a closet, if you know what I mean.
Got it.
And he kind of gently like nudges you. He still has like a hand on your shoulder. He's like doing this like little motion where he kind of like gently shakes you. And he, ignoring what you just said his name, he completely ignores it and says, "Do you think you can help him find some new clothes?" And the moment he says that, Adea's face just brightens up, and she says, "I would love to."
Cool. Camille's gonna stomp on Arata's toes.
Hang on, I don't even know what roll this is, but he is going to roll it.
He'd probably be making an unarmed attack, I guess.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah. being bullied. Okay. And he doesn't have proficient. Well, actually, for an unarmed attack, you do have proficiency. So that is 4.
4. You just stomp loudly on the ground.
He moves his foot out of the way. Camille's glaring at him.
As I quickly roll a thing. Oh my god. Okay, what was your deception, you... Oh, shit. These are brothers.
Sure are.
Okay. Adea doesn't catch this. Actually, she has an insight mod. Hang on. I forget. Yeah, no, she doesn't get this. She doesn't get it. You definitely do. Arata's doing the knife cat expression at you.
Camille is glaring back at Arata. And then it turns to you like, it's really not that much trouble. It's fine. I can get clothes at home. I don't have that much of a problem.
Hang on, I'm trying to figure out what she says, because she is a teenager. Well, she's not a teenager now, but you know what I mean.
Young adult TM.
Young adult TM. Not all brain cells. She says, well, even if you're in a new country, it might be nice to pick up some new clothes. You might not even be able to get them here, elsewhere.
I don't want to bother you.
Oh, it's not a bother at all. And, like, she is, like, holding out a hand for you to take as she kind of, like, straightens back up.
God damn it. Trapped by societal convention.
And I think what she says is, and trust me, I know a thing or two about fashion. And she says, she continues and says, I promise I won't put you in anything you won't like, okay?
He gives a little sigh because, curse you, Arata, you are going to pay for this.
Sure will.
And then smiles up at Adea and is just like, well, alright, if you say so, and you don't mind. And he takes her hand.
Yeah, and she's gonna take you inside the store. Arata's following close by.
He's just here to watch now.
He is here to watch because he is a little shit. But at least this way you will get a chance. You're guaranteed to get a chance to ask your question at some point. And Adea brings you to, like, a little section with a bunch of, like, kids' clothings. And she is already kind of, like, looking around. And I guess what she starts with is, she says, okay, is there anything you don't like the feeling of?
I guess I'm pretty sensitive to rougher textures.
And she does a kind of she does nod, and she kind of looks back down at you, and and like she's kind of like eyeballing your size, and you see her uh you see her start to like pull things over, and she goes, okay, so probably not stuff like this, and she kind of flips through a bit of like different clothes and whatnot, and I spent some time yesterday, for the audience, I spent some time yesterday going through images of like kids fashion. Let me tell you, man.
I was there. It was something else. There. Please tell me that she sets aside an entire outfit made from jeans texture.
She does.
The child outfit.
uh she does. You see her pulling out like a bunch of different stuff. And she says, "All right, and you do you want to keep your hat as an accessory, or do you want to take it off?"
I'd like to keep the hat if I could.
Okay.
And if you want to have Adea roll investigation, you can, though she probably has an idea since he's probably not in the Izumi guys right now.
Yeah.
Anyways, I needed to share the
I don't know how else to say that Adea's strong suit is not intelligence. Unfortunately. Her investigation is a +1. She has no proficiency in it. She got a 6.
rip. Yeah, you probably know that he's using illusions, simply because this is a different child from before, appearance-wise, but you do not see through it. And probably don't make the connection with the hat being the reason why.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. Simply holds this child. So she is, once again taking a look at your hat. She doesn't, like, touch it or anything. She's just, like, looking over at it, trying to get a look at it and whatnot. And, sorry, some of these outfits are ridiculous.
Yeah.
One of the ones is, in fact, the jeans outfit. And she, hands it to you, and and points you in the direction of the changing room.
Yeah, Camille will play along for just a bit longer as he does thank Adea and go over to the changing room and gives Arata one last glare before he goes into the changing room.
Arata is still just greater than :3 face.
Knife cat TM.
Just knife cat. He knows he's gonna get got for this later, but for now it is great. He's
going to milk it for all that it's worth.
Yep. I did pick up some other, like, outfits. Give me a sec to find them.
Fair.
Just because I love the idea of Adea just giving this kid sunglasses too. Here, there's the outfit with the dress shirt and the bow tie, the khakis.
Yeah. Teeny adult.
Teeny adult. I swear to God, when I was looking at, like, fashion for, like, toddlers and shit, it's like they're trying to dress up these kids as just miniature adults, and it is so jarring.
It never works.
It is so funny. What else does she give you? She probably gets you this outfit too. If there is one that, like, sticks out to you that you think Camille would like, just let me know.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me... E. Yeah, kids' fashion is wild.
Kids' fashion is wild. So she gives you, like, a couple of things to try on.
Mm-hmm.
And she is very encouraging with, like, you telling her how you feel in certain things. So that you don't end up in something you, like, definitely do not like. So she'll make sure to... Sorry, I have to put this one. I have to put this image.
Is it? God, Camille takes one look at the legend outfit and slides it back over to her.
She just nods. For the listening audience, it's just an outfit with a backwards cap, a t-shirt that says legend, and camo shorts.
Like, mind you, a toddler.
A toddler is wearing this.
Honestly, I thought that you were gonna send this one, and for the listening audience, it is a child with with Apple earbud wires, a shirt with a little box on it, very, very baggy pants that have arrows going anywhere, like everywhere, and sunglasses with a backwards turned cap. Just...
I swear, if the pants were, like, anything else, like, if the design on the pants was anything else, it might be, like, okay to look at. It's just, why are there arrows? Why the arrows?
It's so wild. Like, where are we supposed to be looking, man? Kid's fashion is wild.
It sure is.
It's fine. It's fine. He gets some good, cute, age-appropriate, TM outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think, though, at some point, as he's, like, trying them on and, like, showing off and all that, he does sort of think for a moment before he's just, actually, now that we have a moment somewhere where it's not so crowded, there was something I, kind of wanted to ask you. And yes, he is playing up being a bashful little kid.
Aww. See, Avi know what's going on, but Adea doesn't, and she thinks it's absolutely adorable. I think Camille's a little shit. And Adea kind of just looks over at you and she says, "What did you want to ask?"
And he does a little bashful shuffle as he looks down at his feet as he's, can you come a little closer?
She's gonna kind of like kneel and lean forward.
And he looks directly at her as he's just, you're a spirit rogue, aren't you?
Hey, I have to look at her stats again. Alright. Oh, this checks out. She is so bad at acting. This is canon to the game for anybody who's not familiar with Persona 5. Adea cannot act to save her life. This is a plot point twice in the game. That deception was a 9.
God. He physically cannot lose to that.
Here's what happens. Here's what happens as I try not to laugh as I tell you this. Adea's eyes widen. And she almost like coughs unexpectedly, because you really did just ask that out of nowhere because you're a little shit.
It is revenge.
It is absolutely revenge. And she kind of just to try and save face, she kind of just laughs very awkwardly and says, "What are you talking about?"
Well, I mean that you're a spirit rogue. Obviously.
And as this is happening, in the corner of your eye, you see Arata kind of like turn his attention so that he busies himself with like some other like display rack so that Adea doesn't catch him like laughing so hard.
Yeah, Camille just gives her an even wider, completely innocent baby smile as he's just, I already know that Arata's trickster.
Okay, so I have to say something, because we did talk about this in DMs a bit. We did talk about Arata being like, Camille is free to interrogate his friends about being a spirit rogue, and Arata did tell his friends to try and like that like one, Camille already knows that he is trickster, but like also to try and keep up the act as much as possible around Camille if he interrogates them, because Camille loves a good mystery. It's enrichment for him.
It's enrichment time.
Here's the thing. Adea is bad at acting. She got a 9 on that deception.
Adea voice, who's Trickster?
She just, no, I think for certain she, like, definitely she goes, who's Trickster?
Camille just pauses and probably points at a Spirit Rogue's merch display.
Yeah, this is like a clothing store, and it's in the underground mall. There's probably like a very small, like, one of those jewelry displays, you know, the ones that spin, you know, the ones. And there's probably like a charm or something that has like the Spirit Rogues logo. I'm telling you right now, if Adea were a toon, there would be so much like comical sweating.
Love her.
She is doing her best, man.
She is, and we love her. Yeah. So, feels kind of just pointed at that and is just, you wanna try that again?
You hear a snort from wherever Arata is. He's like looking at like a couple of skirts. And Adea is doing her hard. I don't think she puts two and two together that she like definitely saw through her act. And she goes, nope, never heard of him.
He just pauses because, oh wow, you're really doubling down on this one.
She is trying so hard.
Question. Would Adea have any Spirit Rogue merch on her?
I think the closest she would have, she probably has like a charm bracelet. And it probably has that like logo. You know, the one with the top hat and mask.
Yeah.
She probably has like a very small charm of that on her bracelet.
Yeah, just you're really gonna double down. I'm
trying to find a there we go. She is embodying this emote right now. Just the oh nervous.
Oh, I love her so much. And Camille's just, alright, you want me to prove it?
I don't think she knows how to respond to that. I think what she says, I think what she ends up saying is, excuse me. I think what she ends up doing is she's still kind of like kneeling in front of you. And she goes, I don't know. We've only just started to get to know each other just now.
Uh-huh. Well, I am a detective, you know. Knowing people's kind of my job. he says, being a 7-year-old.
You're 7 years old, and you just, like... I think at that point, she just kind of, like, gives up. I think, like, she actually, like, sounds very, like, disappointed, and she just goes, oh, I'm doing so bad at this, aren't I? And she kind of puts her head in her hands.
Camille just gently pats her shoulder, like, next time don't be wearing a Spirit Rogue's charm and try to say that you don't know who Trickster is.
I think what she ends up saying is, okay, but can you keep it down? There's still people in here.
And he smiles and just nods like, oh, don't worry, I have no problems with that.
And, still kind of, like, kneeling, she kind of puts her hands on her hips, and she just goes, man, you are really good at this. You're not gonna ask that. We are not gonna ask that. That would be so hilarious if she did, though.
What was she tempted to ask?
She was gonna say, are you sure you're really 7?
I think you should.
Okay, fine. What she says, man, you're really good at this. Are you sure you're really, like, 7 years old?
And... okay. Because I guess he just wanted to flaunt.
Oh boy. Oh my god.
Disgusting boy.
Disgusting.
Yeah, Camille pauses for a moment.
She can't even beat that.
Yeah. Camille pauses for a moment. Seems to be thinking real hard as he holds out his little baby hands and starts to count on them. And he counts up to 7. And then holds his hands still like holds out his hands in the 7 position. I forget the term for that. And just gives her a very, very big grin as he's just, uh-huh.
Oh my god.
He turned 7 last May.
Oh my god. In the background, wherever Arata has gone off to, you hear another snort of laughter.
I love him so. He's having the time of his life.
He is enjoying this way too much. As I kind of find my words again, God. And Adea just kind of, again, she has that expression on her face that's just, oh, you are so adorable. How are you that cute?
That's his talent. Going from being a little bastard who knows way too much to baby. This is a baby.
This is, in fact, a baby. And she's willing to incorporate that into her belief system as she... Sorry, I could not say that with a straight face. As she says, "Oh wow, you're getting pretty old, huh?" And once again straightens back up and looks at the outfit you're wearing right now. And she kind of thinks, and she goes, "Now that I think about it, I don't think those pants are making you look good."
Yeah, Camille nods at that, and he gives Adea another smile as he's just, not as old as you are, and then dashes right back into the changing room.
Hey! And you hear Arata just start, like, losing. Oh my god, that is fantastic. I just got a DM from someone I don't know. Oh, this is a...
Oh.
Alright, never mind. Okay, I know what's going on now.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so Camille does come back in and change into a new outfit. And then comes out like he just never said anything.
Adea's, like, pouting. She has such a childish pout on her face with, like, her arms crossed and everything. And she just goes, "Well, I can see why you like Zumi now."
I think Izumi's a lot better. Wait. I think Shira's a lot better at being mean than I am.
And she kind of just sighs, and she just goes, "Actually, I'm pretty sure he's the best person I know at being mean, and that's saying something, because I work with a bunch of other fashion models."
He'll does tilt his head at that, as he's just... Oh, I guess you being a model would make sense.
I think what she ends up saying is, "Yep, both of my parents work in the fashion industry, so it just kind of felt natural to me."
Yeah, Camille nods at that as he's just, well, I suppose that does make sense. And as I try to think of how to word something.
Take your time.
Alright. Okay, yeah. And then he does kind of sober a little as he's just, I take it you also have some history with Shiro?
And again, she kind of just sighs and rubs a hand against her forehead, and she says, "I guess you'd say that."
Well, when I met him, I mean, yeah, he is a little grumpy, but he's not all that bad, I don't think.
Do you want to roll insight?
Sure.
just for funnies.
Just for funny haha?
Yeah.
Just for funny hee-hoo time?
Mm-hmm.
Iggy, don't eat my... Don't eat that. I need that. That's my dice. That's a 22. Hi.
Excuse me. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
I think with the 22 on the insight, you can tell that Adea is trying to hold back from saying something. And you get the impression that she's holding back from saying it because, one, you're a kid. Two, you're a little kid who looks up to Azumi. You call him Shiro. You're on a first-name basis with him.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, for Azumi, not common. That doesn't happen a lot. And I think what she ends up saying is that, she kind of furrows her brows and she says, well, I guess you could say that he is pretty good at being nice. With a 22, you could easily, tell, like, with the way she says it, you could just as well have slotted in an extra word between being and nice, and the word that comes to mind would be pretending.
Yeah. And Camille tilts his head like, alright, I guess nice wasn't the best word to use there. I do know about, Shiro's history. And, if your whole thing is about changing people's hearts, well, don't you think he can change too?
And she does kind of frown a bit. And she says, I guess you're right. I mean, that is why we're all here, right? Isn't it? I don't know. I wish I could put into words how I feel about everything, but...
Well, I don't think you have to forgive him. But
well,
acknowledging that he can change is... it is a complicated situation.
well, I'm not denying that. I mean, it's just... You see her pause? Like, she's trying to figure out a way to put this into words that a 7-year-old can understand. She just says... I think what she ends up saying is... It's just... I just wish things could have, I just wish things didn't have to go the way they did, you know? I mean, we were
I
going to help him out, and then all of a sudden he just disappeared, and then we couldn't. So and she just kind of shrugs.
well, I don't think you're the only person who wishes that. And he does glance over at Arata.
Arata's not there.
Yeah, that's what he thought.
At some point in this conversation, Arata has walked into the changing room.
He is outie. Yet he glances over at where Arata was, for he's just... Which I guess is what makes the mystery of why he came back so, intriguing, to put it one way.
And she just kind of nods. Sagely. Like, this is a very serious... It is a very serious, like, situation that's going on, but, like, she looks like she is trying to take extra care and being serious about it. Before she kind of just, settles, and, gosh, you were going to say something, and then I lost the words.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Yep. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. Sort of thinks for a moment before he tilts his head, like, I admit that I don't really know too much about... Oh, there was a doggy bark.
There sure was a doggy bark.
I'll admit I don't really know too much about your end of things, especially when it comes to what you do, but I... Have you noticed anything else weird or odd there?
With the Zooey?
Well, not so much Azumi, more, And it seems like he's trying to think and find a way to word things, but also he's only got like half of the puzzle pieces in regards to that specific thing, which makes it very hard to ask for. Like, with the,
I mean, or are you talking about with what's been going on in general here in Okashima?
Here in Okashima and in, wherever you go on the plane of dreams.
Oh, she kind of like puffs out her cheeks in like that kind of like sigh, like, oh, that's complicated. She doesn't know how to summarize that, for a kid.
Love them.
Yeah.
They are trying so hard.
They sure are trying so hard.
Unstoppable force versus immovable object.
Yeah. And she's just, she really have been putting things together, huh?
Well, I don't think I have all of it. Arata did laugh at a few of my theories, and I'll admit that I got unexpected information from an unexpected source, but I didn't want to press her too hard because it felt, I don't want to be mean to a kid. And interrogating them does feel like being a bit mean.
Aren't you a kid?
Yes, so obvious I would know how it feels.
Can't argue with that logic. She is not smart.
I love her so much. I think Camille's clocked onto that and is not trying as hard as he usually would.
She does at the very least think you are a weird kid. Definitely a lot smarter for your age. But like, she isn't pressing on it, so you got that going for you.
Yeah. There's lots of... You just have to really lean into the weird kid aspect of it, as he's learned.
Yeah. And she kind of just sighs and she says, well, it's kind of hard to pick up some weird stuff that's been happening there when we're not, in there 24/7. We don't live on the plane of dreams, but...
Hope not.
And she just kind of laugh at your comment, and she says, I guess you could say there's been some other people that we know who have noticed weird things, but it's not anything concrete, I guess you could say.
Well... God, you really are gonna say some stupid shit like that, huh?
Oh boy. What the boy doing?
He's kind of just... Well, you have to mix a lot of ingredients to get concrete, so... Like I said, stupid.
Not a single brain cell here. And she just kind of shrugs and says, well, the thing about how we interact with the plane of dreams, or more specifically, I guess, the part of the plane of dreams that we interact with, it's very tied to the material plane. So a lot of the stuff that happens on either side gets reflected on the opposite end. So if something happens here, it will likely make an impact on the plane of dreams, and the same would apply the other way around. So sometimes it's hard to tell what is the cause and what's the effect, if that makes any sense.
And, okay, Camille, let's do the hammer space roll.
Are you pulling out your goddamn journal or something?
Yeah. Okay.
Did he fumble?
Yeah, because the fumble rates are up outside of Unquell.
Oh my
At least,
god.
specifically for Camille and Leo because of their specific bullshit. Okay. Camille has a very, very serious look on his face as he digs into his pocket, and he instead instead of a notebook, pulls out a book titled Murder on the West Express. And he looks at it and is just, oh no. And puts it back in and fumbles again.
And as you fumble, Maki has come by to say hi. Hey, baby.
Hello, Maki. Okay, so the fumble has decided to... Aww.
That was a loud meow.
It's Jeannie.
Yeah, Jeannie has joined the group, because Arata's probably still in the, in the changing room.
Just here to watch and say meow.
And here to say
not real.
Meow, like
just
a cat.
Meow. As you do. Okay, next one is he puts that book back in, digs around a little more, and pulls out a book titled Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci!
Da Vinci! And just sighs like, okay, third time's the charm. Third time was not the charm.
Oh boy. Adea is just...
He's just standing here. This kid was deadly serious, but now he just keeps pulling out murder mysteries out of nowhere.
She spent some time in Toontown. Not in Toontown, in Ninequill. There we go. So she knows a few things. She's just okay.
Okay, we're doing this now. Yeah. Pulls out a book titled The XYZ Murders and puts that back in again. Fumbles again.
Oh my god.
Fumbles again. Alright. Oh wait, this one's really funny.
What did he get?
He pulls out a card that is shaped like a very large L. And is stamped with a little distinctive club's marking.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
And he just has a very deep sigh as he holds back from saying the perpetrator's name and just, come on.
Don't make a joke, don't make a joke. She's gonna make a joke, she says.
Make the joke.
Wow, you really took the L there, huh?
Yeah, that is his catchphrase.
You hear Jeannie just start snickering.
And Jeannie gets papped with the L card as he's just, yeah, you shut up. Hey, yeah, you want a genuine, Phantom Thief card? From the Real Stem Zone.
She lowers her voice and she goes, Camille, I'm a spirit rogue. I can make those.
Yeah, and if you did make one of these, the guy I know would absolutely be showing up on your doorstep yelling about copyright.
And she squints at you, and she just goes, "You drive a hard bargain."
Adea is handed the L.
She takes the L. Oh, God. Perfect setup. Excellent follow through. Good work here, guys. End of the FPS.
Wonderful. Comedy relief. Okay. Thankfully he's free.
Oh,
So,
thank goodness.
this time when he fishes into his hammer space, he pulls out a little detective's notebook and pen and takes a moment to recall what you said and jots down some notes.
Yeah, it was something about the lines of how the specific area of the plane of dreams that the spirit rogues interact with is very reflective of the material plane because they're so connected.
Yeah, and as he's writing that down, you can roll perception if you want.
Yep. Oh my god, Adea, is this your first good roll the entire FPS? What is your... That can't be your whiz mod. Oh, it is! Oh no!
Did you give her negative whiz?
No, it's just a 1.
Hair, listen, a 15 is a perfectly fine, serviceable number for anyone who is not a disgusting detective.
No, that's fine. I'm just like, I did not remember. I could have sworn her wisdom was like better than that, but like,
Fair.
I guess this checks out. This checks out.
This checks out. Yeah, you can see that he is writing it down, and as he's writing the information down, he's sort of flipping between 2 pages, one which seems to be the current case regarding Izumi and everything, along with other observations he's made during this trip. And on the other page seems to be all of the information that he's collecting on how these spirit rogues work. And he's sort of like making little theories on both, and sort of just trying to connect the dots. There's a line drawn between the effect that both planes have on each other to like the method of like where he's trying to piece together the method of how change of hearts work and other such things.
Mm-hmm.
And as he's sort of scribbling this all down very, very fast for little tiny child hands, he's just, what these changes, are they more on the mental side of things, or is there an actual physical effect on the material plane?
Like what we do, or what's been happening recently?
Either or. Maybe both.
I mean, she kind of runs a hand like through. She kind of like plays with one of her pigtails. It looks like a nervous fidget is what this is. She goes, I guess you could say mental, or at least someone is having a change. It's just hard to tell who, but it's definitely not like the kind of changes of heart that we do. This is different. I mean, I guess the only like physical change that, like, I can tell is Izumi coming back.
So do you think that's directly related to the section of the plane that you work with?
I mean, and she lowers her voice again, kind of like making sure that nobody's listening, and she says, I mean, it's gotta be, isn't it? Because that's where Izumi died.
Didn't Camille know that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm
I think
because I'm
so.
pretty sure he knew that,
I
but
think so.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he knew that. So he does nod and write that down, and he's just, yeah, that. Thank you, Iggy.
Dog time.
He do a yell.
Work, work.
Yeah. All right, Iggy, come here. All right. He does note that down and sort of hums a bit as he thinks, as he's just, it does definitely have to be related in some way. I just want to know if the effect on the physical plane is on the physical effects on the material plane are an oddity in and of itself or something to be expected. Since I know with what you usually do, that's pretty much entirely a mental effect.
And she nods and she says, I think what she says, I mean, she does like this kind of like movement where like she kind of like shakes her shoulders as she's thinking, as she says, I mean, it's not the first time that we've seen a physical change in the material plane because of the plane of dreams, but physically changing the material plane with the plane of dreams, that takes a lot of power. And the kinds of changes we saw weren't just bringing a single person back to life.
Right.
So she kind of frowns and she says, you know when like a magician does a trick and then everybody wants to know how they do that trick, so rather than asking that magician, they try to replicate it? That's the kind of feeling I get with what's been happening with Izumi.
And he nods at that and does indeed make note. He's just, so it what makes sense with what other things we've picked up, since it does seem like Denmasu magic is involved, but by someone who's figuring it out themselves.
I don't really like the sounds of that.
Nor do I, but it's always how investigations like this tend to go. And he does give you a little bit of a smile.
And she kind of nods, like, yeah, she kind of gets it, even though her side of the investigation is on the other side of the law, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Because even so, the spirit rogues do try to look into things on their own before making moves, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, after all, you don't investigate something because you suspect it to be happy. But regardless, and he is trying to think of a way to word this properly. He's just thank you for your information and for he gets a little bit smug and for letting me know a little bit more about the spirit rogues.
And she kind of like huffs. And she just, I think she kind of like mumbles something about detectives. And something about you being so quote unquote irresistibly cute. You're adorable. And she is a simple young lady.
Sometime heartbreaking. The cute child you know is a detective.
Really? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I did find, did put words together for, like, why, Adea... Sorry, let me rephrase that. I did figure out the words for, like, how Adea feels about Izumi. I just don't know how to go back to that part of the conversation.
We could theoretically get back there through the line of detectives who are very obviously digging for information on the spirit rogues.
Yeah. I think what she does is that she kind of like... She flicks the brim of your hat.
Camille does let out a little whine.
And she goes...
And fixes his hat.
She goes... Okay, I could see why you like Izumi so much.
Well... And... He smiles as he's just... Well, he is a very competent detective. And he's one of the few people who, didn't discount me for my age.
And she kind of just... She does look a little... Not so much surprised as she is just, oh, huh. Like, it's not too surprised, but, like, it's... She wasn't expecting it, but with what she knows, it does kind of check out.
Yeah.
And she kind of, like, again, she nods at that. Like, okay. Alright, that makes sense. Before she kind of, like, leans back, and she's absent-mindedly, like, looking through some clothes, again, for you to pick out. And it's probably as you, like, change into, like, a different set of clothes, and you come back out, and she goes, you said something about forgiving Izumi.
Oh, yeah, I did.
And she kind of, again, looks in the direction of the other, like, changing room. where Arata went to, and she just goes, can you keep a secret?
Camille nods.
And she kind of takes a deep breath, and like in the middle of her taking a breath, there is this look on her face like, is she really going to tell a kid this? Before she realized that she already like asked, and she just might as well. You know the look.
Yeah.
Before she kind of just sighs, and she says, well, obviously it's not going to be as easy as just forgiving Azumi for what he did, because what he did was really, really bad. And I'm going to be real, I don't really know him that well to tell if he actually feels bad about it. The fact that he's trying to do better does kind of make up for it, I guess. I don't want to discredit how far he's come. Even if it was when we weren't even looking, but as I try to get my thoughts in order, whew, hang on a sec.
Fair. I can have Camille weigh in if you want.
I mean, she's still kind of going. What she has to say is kind of simple, even if there is like a lot behind it.
Yeah, that is very fair.
She said, I think what she ends up saying is, I don't think it would be right to say that I hate him. It's knowing what I do about him, it's kind of hard to say that I do, but I think, and she does kind of frown before she continues. She says, I think I'm scared of him, but I think the thing about him that scares me the most is that, and she kind of takes a deep breath again, and she says, I think if I was in his position, I might have done the same thing.
I think Camille gently puts a hand on her, and he's just, you woof.
Woof.
You woof.
You woof.
Yes, you woof. Alright, come here, little man.
Iggy time.
Iggy time. There we go. Iggy will no longer woof. He has been taken care of. And by that I mean I have given him what he wants.
Are you holding the doggy boy?
Yes, I am holding the doggy boy. He wants to be held.
Oh.
I think that it's fair to be worried about what you would have done in that situation. And to be scared of it and what you might have done. And I don't think that you should let those what ifs control you. Or, no, that's not the right words.
And she kind of
don't-
just laughs at that.
I'm. And he pauses for a moment, like, I'm not going to say that out loud, actually. For audience reference, he was about to say, I'm still trying to learn how to comfort people who are alive.
God.
He is a homicide detective. Usually he's here to keep people calm enough to give testimony and then solve the murder, and then he's done. But this is different, and it's hard and weird.
Yeah.
So it's just, I'm still learning how to phrase things, obviously. But
Fletch?
yeah, words hard.
Oh, take your time. I thought you were just really quiet. I thought I lost you.
Fair. Words hard, especially when you gotta then parse it through the character lens.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Take your time.
And he thinks for a bit as he's just, I think that it's fair to have those feelings, but it's also not fair to hold those feelings against him, if that makes sense. If you look at him and all you see is the bad end or what you could have been, then you're not really seeing him as a person or as the person that he's starting to become. I think it's fair to. I think it's fair if you never really end up liking him or forgiving him for what he's done, because he's done a lot. But at the same time, he is doing his best to get better, and I think that counts for something.
There's a quiet pause as she nods and she says, "You're right. I mean, of course you are. You're a detective. But you're right. It's not fair to him to be. It's not fair to look at him and not see him for how far he's come, I guess.
It's also not fair to you. If you're worried about it being who you could have been, the operative word is could have. You don't know for sure, and maybe you should give yourself a little more credit."
God, okay. I think she would talk about this because this is going to tie into something way later down the line. I do a heart emoji to anybody who's actually played Persona 5 Royal listening to this.
Oh boy!
She says, "Can I tell you something?"
He pauses and he nods.
And she says, "When I was in high school, I had this best friend. She was on the varsity volleyball team. But our volleyball coach at the high school was..." And she makes a very disgusted expression. And she says, "He was just the worst. He did a lot of very bad things. But, he was the first person that the Spirit Rogues targeted. What ended up happening was, he did something to my best friend. And because of it, she had to stop coming to our school. And I don't think she's going to be able to play volleyball anymore, which sucks because she loved volleyball. And all I can remember when we finally confronted him to change his heart was how much I wanted to hurt him back. But I didn't. Because I knew in the end it wouldn't change anything. Excuse me as I take a deep breath.
Holds you.
Yeah.
Don't you just love when you start an FPS like he who funny shenanigans and then suddenly you have existential topics?
Yep. Yep. It happens. Don't worry. This is Persona.
It do be Persona.
She ends up saying, it's kind of like that, but in the other direction. With when I look at Azumi, I don't want him to keep suffering, because gods know he's been through enough of that. And she kind of fidgets with her hair again, and she's just, I think I just want him to get better.
Nods, and I can relate to that. I know that Arata can do, and quite a few other people. All want him to stop suffering, and he's been through his really unfair.
You cut out on my end.
Fair. Camille is just what he's been through is really unfair, and I know that I just want him to be okay. Kinda just sucks since there's only so much we can do, but if we keep continuing to be there for him when he needs it, then one day he will start feeling better.
And I think she just kind of nods at that. And she kind of just sighs. And she says, yeah, I guess it doesn't help that I don't really know how to help someone like him. But I don't think I'm gonna give up just yet.
I think the most important things are not giving up and being there for them. So, you're already well on track. And he does give her a genuine smile.
And she grins right back at you before she kind of settles back, and as a joke, she says, it probably also doesn't help that I'm kind of scared that he might bite me whenever I try to talk to him.
You know, I'm not sure why everyone says that they think it's him, that Shiro's gonna bite them.
He's scary!
Is he?
He really... She kind of, like, takes a deep breath and does the, like, the prayer hands.
Boy!
And she goes, have you ever heard his unhinged laugh?
Camille starts trying to think back.
And as you're thinking, she just goes, it's terrifying. Like, you wouldn't think that a guy who looks that nice in front of a camera would be so bloodthirsty, but he's terrifying.
Maybe he's just having fun.
She just kind of goes, honestly, that kind of scares me even more. Oh, God.
Listen, we gotta have the shenanigans.
You do have to have the shenanigans.
Oh, why do you say that?
Because that means he gets a kick out of tearing into things. You know.
Oh, well, one of my brothers gets the same way. He's really sweet, though. Camille thinking back to Leo beating the shit out of the puppet.
Adea just kind of makes a face. It's like kind of distressed, like she's trying to like say something without actually saying it. But I think it would be really funny if at this point Arata steps out of the changing room. He is currently dressed in the most extravagant dress that he could find in this shop.
Oh, love that for him. Camille turns to Arata like, Arata, Shiro's not that scary, right? Oh, also nice dress.
And Arata just goes, thank you. Azumi is terrifying when he wants to be.
Camille is just... There is very much a question mark above his head for a moment. He doesn't see it. He has never actually seen Azumi that unhinged, and this is hilarious to me. He just doesn't understand.
And Arata just goes, of course you wouldn't see it. That guy carries you like you're a teddy bear.
He blushes just a bit as he says, Hey!
Am I wrong?
You don't have to say it!
And you just, like, hear Adea just giggling in the background.
Adea, armed with blackmail for Azumi.
Yup. We didn't share as many outfits as I was hoping, but if one of the ones that I sent in DMs stick out to you.
Alright, let me... Okay, Discord, please be fast. I would like that.
Discord.
Okay, I just have to first go through... we send a lot of dog pictures.
We sure do send a lot of dog pictures.
Okay, you know what? Because I think it's funny, I think that it should be... Okay, come on, Discord. Come on, you got this. You can do this. I think it would be funny if it was this one.
Oh boy. Oh my god, it's cute.
Yeah.
It's very cute. Does Camille like it, is the big question.
Camille would like it. He's a fucking Holmes fanatic.
I think, yeah, probably because, like, you've been talking about being a detective, and you did, like, have an entire detective moment, TM. Adea does, like, pick this style out for you. Like, she probably, like, holds up, like, 2 different jackets for you to choose from, and, like, you point one out.
Yeah. And he does, when he does exit the changing room this time, he does actually seem to like it quite a bit.
Yes! Yes! We got this kid clothes!
We got him clothes!
Yeah, and Arata's gonna pay for it. Because he did pull this prank on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think Adea is also going to offer to take you to one of the local dessert shops here in the Underground Mall. She's probably gonna get you like I forgot the like actual Japanese word for them, but they're kind of like fruit sandwiches.
Yeah. Let's see.
They're like some sort of cream with like pieces of fruit in them. And it's sliced bread, so
I think it's fruit sando.
Is that it?
Sando.
Yes, fruit sando.
Nice.
She's going to get you like a couple of those for you to like eat with her.
Mm-hmm.
As a repayment for for letting her play dress up with you.
Mm-hmm. Camille will accept this bribe he does seem pretty excited over the funny little fruit sandwiches. He like him fruit.
He sure does. But it's also
Probably gets a few to go for Leo.
awesome. Hell yeah.
Maybe one or two for Zumi too.
Aww. He'll appreciate that. But this also gives you a perfect opportunity in the future to prank Arata back. Anyway.
Oh?
I mean, he did pull you into this dress-up game.
True. Yeah, he is absolutely gonna prank Arata back after this.
Well, yeah.
For now, he is at least very happily munching on him fruit sandwich.
Hell yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to do or add?
No, I think he's pretty alright. He did get to bully just a bit.
Yes. Good.
And he probably will very gently bully Adea throughout the hangout.
Good.
Just because.
That's what you do when you're a detective surrounded by phantom thieves.
Exactly. It's fine. It's just all part of the job description.
But that's all I had.
Yep. That is all I had as well.
Alright. And thank you so much, Fletch, for playing with me.
Thank you for playing with me and having a funny little fashion interlude.
I love how he said that this would be a mostly fluff, and then we had, like, a serious conversation in the middle of everything.
We have fluff, and then we put the serious conversation, and then we end with fluff. It's fine.
Anyway.
It's a sandwich.
And
Yeah.
thank you to our audience for listening in, both now and the future. With that, we are going to bid you a good time zone. Bye!
Bye.